Is it a good idea to pair an RTX 5070 Ti with a 4K monitor to enjoy the latest games? Let's find out. To test this, I paired the 5070 Ti with the Ryzen 7 9800X3D, so there are no CPU bottlenecks, and we'll be experiencing the games today on one of the best monitors, QD OLED MSI 32 inches 4K 240Hz panel. By the way, if you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can find them on Amazon and the links in the description below. There is no need to spend that much money on Windows 11 Pro when you can get it much cheaper at cdkeyoffer.com. Additionally, use discount code IVADIM to get 25% off and bring the total price down to $22. Furthermore, you can find Windows 10 Pro as well as Microsoft Office at much cheaper prices as well. Get yours now at the link in the description below, and don't forget to use discount code IVADIM to get 25% off. Let's start with the hottest new game, Arc Raiders. As you can see, I've been enjoying it way too much. Yeah, more than I should have. We'll start with the settings that I prefer using on this graphics card on this monitor, and then we'll take a look at other configurations. We are at 4K resolution, but not native. DLSS Quality transformer model. Okay. Of course, field of view maxed out, motion blur turned off. RTX global illumination set to dynamic high. I'm using custom graphics quality, but most things are set to epic, with the only exception being global illumination resolution set to high. And the game pretty much looks the same as maxed out, but the FPS is much better thanks to these small changes. Global illumination and RTX global illumination. Basically, these two are one of the most GPU demanding things in this game. Shadows are there too, but they are quite low quality even for the epic setting. So I decided to keep it on epic because I have enough FPS to enjoy the game. Visuals in this game, as well as audio, is just incredible. It looks great. However, if you start looking at things way too close, you will be able to see that this game doesn't actually offer high quality assets. Well, at least not on the same level as some of the other games that are, way too GPU demanding, even for modern GPUs, including the 5070 Ti, but I think that the game developers have nailed it with this visual presentation, because the game just feels and looks phenomenal. And yeah, it's basically a win-win, because we are indeed getting above 100 FPS, which is incredible. For a game that looks like this, wow. I am very impressed, and as I mentioned, I've been enjoying the game immensely, and I think I'll keep playing it every chance I get. It is super addictive. We do get dips to around 90-ish FPS from time to time in more demanding scenes, but yeah, as long as I'm getting 90 plus FPS in a game like this, I am very happy. That is why I'm using this graphics settings configuration, and I have nothing to complain about. The reason I'm not willing to go below quality mode on DLSS in this game is because it makes it easier to spot enemies in the distance. As you lower the DLSS quality, everything in the distance becomes ever so slightly blurrier, less detailed, and I don't like that. I like being able to spot my targets or potential threats from way in the distance, right there on the edge, or even over there. And even though that frame rate graph is not flat, the game feels smooth enough. When I was playing with the overlay disabled, it felt absolutely okay. No major issues with stuttering. Of course, there's an occasional stutter here and there because this is, after all, an Unreal Engine 5 title, and even though they've made it pretty smooth, there are still inherent problems that come with Unreal Engine 5, such as traversal stutter here and there. But for the most part, my experience has been smooth enough to call this experience highly enjoyable. Hopefully, as things progress, we'll get a smoother and smoother performance in this game. But take a look at the stats for a moment. We are using just below 7 GB of video memory. Yeah, that is quite nice for a game that looks as good as this. Wow, 4K resolution, DLSS quality, 7 GB of memory. Amazing. Technically, you could actually use an 8 GB graphics card to enjoy this game. Now, we could actually increase our FPS using the same graphics configuration by lowering DLSS quality. Let's take a look at DLSS Performance mode. Now our FPS is quite a bit higher, well above 120. Sometimes it does dip to around 120 plus indoors. And as we make our way outdoors, yeah, it's basically 120 plus FPS experience all the way. I'm pretty sure that in some more demanding scenes we'll see FPS drop below 120. Oh, we've seen it just then briefly. But mostly you could just lock your FPS at 120 and enjoy the game like that. And even on DLSS Performance mode, this game still looks very good. But as I said, I just prefer having higher detail quality in the distance. After all, we are upscaling 1080p to 4K by using DLSS Performance mode, which results in a softer image, and small details are not as visible as a result of that. Let's take a look at DLSS Balanced real quick. As you'd expect, the situation is the FPS is in between DLSS Quality and DLSS Performance, still above 100 FPS. So you can see why I'm choosing to use DLSS Quality over DLSS Balanced or any other modes, because yeah, the FPS difference is not massive, but the image is much sharper and nicer using DLSS Quality mode. But Balanced, it's fine as well. You get a few FPS extra. I don't think it matters, but yeah, there you go. Next, let's lower the graphics settings a little bit to see what kind of performance we can get if we want a higher FPS. Let's go for the high quality and RTX global illumination medium. And we'll set DLSS back to quality mode. NVIDIA Reflex is enabled for the entirety of this test because this is the way to play this game. By the way, I am not going to use frame generation in this game because I think this is just heresy to, use frame generation in online PvP games. You won't catch me doing that, because it actually lowers our FPS, which increases the PC latency, that in turn lowers our competitiveness in this game. Indoors, the FPS is at 130 plus, pushing close to 140, and I'm in danger. Oh my god, look at that thing right there. That will mess me up. Right, and as we enter outdoors area, open space, we're still at above 120. That is actually quite nice. Yeah. And visually, this doesn't look much different to the higher graphics quality that I used just now previously. And yeah, the game still looks very good. The only thing that I can notice is that the shadow quality is it's getting a little bit rough around the edges, like on that building over there. The shadows don't look as they should, and if I move a bit closer, they look okay. But I take a few steps back and those shadows look messed up and even disappear in some places. Weird, but it is what it is. That is exactly why this game actually runs this well And yeah, it doesn't require you to have an RTX 5090 to play it on a 4K monitor. Actually, this might be enough to play this game at native 4K resolution. Let's enable NVIDIA's DLAA. This is native 4K. Yes, indeed, this is enough, because we're still at well above 60 FPS, closer to 90 actually in most scenes. This is good. I like it. 80 plus, it is acceptable. Would I keep playing this game like this? It's hard to tell. I already showed you my preferred way to play this game, and I don't think this changes anything. I'll still keep playing this game on the settings that I chose at the beginning. And yeah, basically it's just me exploring the other graphics settings just to show you other possibilities, like what you'll get if your preferences are different, because we all have our own preferences, and you should experiment with these graphic settings, especially with NVIDIA's DLSS resolution upscaling quality, because I might find one set of settings preferable, and you might feel very differently about that. Let's try DLSS Balanced next. Wow, okay, indoors we're pushing 150 FPS now, 140 plus. Nice, nice. And our CPU is doing very well still. It is capable of delivering many more frames than we currently have. And outdoors, take a look at that. 130 to 140 FPS. Beautiful. And that's not the limit. We can enable DLSS Performance mode. But it doesn't actually deliver a massive performance boost. Yeah, we're getting like 10 FPS more. But is it worth it? I don't think so. But the option is there if you need it. And of course it is nice to have high FPS in this game if you want to take it seriously and be competitive in PvP. And if you want the sweatiest PvP experience, then you need to lower your graphics to the absolute minimum. And we go for the static global illumination and the... Hold on a second. Yeah, static global illumination and a low graphics quality preset. DLSS set to performance mode. We can't saturate the entirety of 240 Hz that this monitor has to offer, but it is very close. Take a look at that. Indoors, 230, 220 FPS. Outdoors, still above 200 FPS. Very nice indeed. This feels smooth and fluid. Very responsive. But the visuals, yeah, this does not look good. Compared to the game when it's on high or maxed out, this is quite a different experience. Not a pleasant one for my liking, but if you want to be super competitive in PvP in this game, then it is best to play this game on low. If you want to max out your frame rate, then this is the way to go. Basically, we're staying at around 200 FPS, which is quite a lot, but we're still kind of GPU limited at this point, so it's interesting to see. And if you'd like to know how this looks with DLSS set to quality mode, then here we go. The image looks more detailed, and the FPS is still pretty damn high. Well above 160, actually 180 in some scenes. Check this out, 180 plus over here, sliding around, nice. Basically, if you have something like a 140 to 160 Hz monitor, then you will be able to saturate that using this graphics settings configuration. Also, I think it will be interesting to see how this game performs with everything maxed out. So that means RTX global illumination set to epic and graphics also set to epic. And why not start at native 4K resolution using NVIDIA's DLAA? Ah, that's better. The game looks beautiful once more. And as you can see, it can get pretty GPU demanding if you let it. We're still at above 60 FPS though, which is impressive. This is a very well optimized game. Overall, this is still a pleasant and playable experience, but after experiencing this game at 90 plus FPS, this feels choppy and a little bit unresponsive, because of the low frame rate, that is. Oh, look at that, we're dropping into 50s. Well, high 50s, but 50s nonetheless. Okay, that means that in more GPU demanding scenes, as well as in fights, we might see even lower values, which means that this isn't really a good graphics configuration for, this monitor and this graphics card. Let's change that. We'll use DLSS Quality mode. That boosted our performance by quite a bit. Take a look at this. We are getting close to 90 FPS. Even high 90s from time to time. This is good. That is why I love using DLSS resolution upscaling, because the image quality DLSS 4 provides, well, transformer model, that is, it provides an amazing image quality, much better than native AA, such as TAA, or what's the native Unreal Engine 5 AA called TSR, is it? I think it is TSR. Anyway, I hate using those because their anti-aliasing solutions, they suck. They don't look good. They look blurry, finer details suffer as a result of that, and yeah, basically it becomes more of a nuisance trying to spot enemies further away. I don't like that. That is why I love having DLSS 4. Next, let's take a look at a single-player experience on the 5070 Ti using the 4K monitor. This is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and if you want to play this game at maxed out settings, I'm talking about the experimental graphics quality preset, then one thing that I would recommend is to actually do the following. If you just select that, experimental, right? And if you don't want your game to be stuttery and feel unresponsive, then what you do is you just lower this one setting, vegetation detail. Set it to ultra and it will be good to go. We'll start with DLSS set to performance mode, and then we'll take a look at other modes as well. This way you can still enjoy nearly maxed out graphics settings and not have that horrible FPS drop as you pan the camera. It is still happening, as you can see on the frame rate graph, but it is not as drastic as it used to be when the footage was set to the absolute maximum. Yeah, it is just a more pleasant experience overall. As you can see, we're still getting well above 60 FPS. That is nice. 70 plus over here. It can drop to around 60 in certain scenes with very short dips into high 50s, but mostly it's at 60 plus, even reaching 80 plus sometimes. Let's see if we can use a higher DLSS quality. Let's try balanced now. Yeah, it's still fine. 70 plus FPS with dips to around 57, 60 plus over here. But mostly, if you're okay with those kind of dips every now and then, you can have well above 60 FPS in most scenes in this game. And enjoy beautiful graphics, high level of detail, finer details are nicely preserved. using DLSS 4 Balanced mode in this game. I like it. This looks good. But if you're picky and you have to use DLSS Quality mode, then let's see what that looks like. Not too bad, actually. We're still at 70 plus in some scenes, and we're dropping to 52 FPS in some of the most demanding scenes that I've seen so far in this game. We might have even more GPU demanding scenes in the future, because I haven't finished this game yet. I'm still playing through it. But in this particular case, yeah, it's still not too bad. Of course, the better way to get higher FPS is to lower the graphics settings. Let's use ultra graphics settings instead of experimental, and we'll start at native 4K. Yeah, even in a well-optimized game like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, native 4K resolution is still it's difficult to run native 4K on the 5070 Ti. 50 plus FPS, nah, I don't like it. This doesn't feel good, especially after having experienced this game at 90 plus FPS. Yeah, it's not worth it. It is much better to use DLSS resolution upscaling to boost performance. Let's use DLSS Quality mode. Yes, this is much better. Take a look at this. We're back to 70 plus FPS, reaching 90 from time to time. And over here, the FPS doesn't drop to 60. It stays at above 70. This is good to see, and we are getting quite a smooth experience. But we can get even more FPS if we lower DLSS quality. Let's check out Balanced. Actually, we're not getting that much more out of it. It is a little bit nicer to have more FPS, but it's not a massive difference. Well, not as massive as going from native to DLSS quality mode, that is. Still, pretty nice. Now we are at 80 plus FPS consistently. And take a look at that. In some scenes we're getting above 100. Well, close to 100. Above 100 if we look if we look at something really close. And yeah, that's not how we play the game. So mostly 90 plus FPS or 80 plus in other scenes. Pretty good, pretty good. And DLSS Balanced looks beautiful in this game. Next up, DLSS Performance mode. This is still a very respectable image quality. I can enjoy the game using DLSS 4 Performance mode, especially in this particular game because it looks good in it. They implemented it very well, and our performance is now at, well, close to 90 pretty consistently, even in this place where the FPS usually drops by quite a lot. And in other scenes, we're actually getting above 100 FPS now. And I would actually just use this DLSS performance mode before lowering any other graphics settings in this game to gain more FPS if I needed that. But if you feel differently and you don't mind lowering that graphics settings even further, let's check out the high graphics quality preset, starting with the native 4K resolution. Wow, okay, 70 plus over here. Will we drop below 70 over here? No. Okay. Even at native resolution, we are now getting a pretty good experience, pretty good smooth experience with well above 60 FPS. Beautiful, beautiful. Although, as I mentioned, I would rather play this game on ultra graphics quality using performance DLSS mode instead of lowering the graphics to high, because some of the shadows and lighting doesn't look as good. Of course, we can increase the texture quality without any cost to FPS, because the only thing that needs is VRAM, and we have 16 gigabytes on this graphics card. And if you ask me, I think it will be okay for at least another 3 to 4 years. And after that, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. It's not like we have any better options right now, because even AMD graphics cards, they all have 16 gigabytes of memory. I'm talking about the RX 9000 series, of course. Okay, let's see how this performance will change if we enable DLSS Quality mode. Yes, a massive FPS boost. 120 in some cases, like this one here. If we want to do some blacksmithing, we can enjoy 120 FPS in this little shack. But if we are out and about, 100 plus FPS. Beautiful. And this CPU can do way more. It can deliver above 200 FPS in this game. So if, for example, you wanted for some reason to, achieve that in this particular game, then you can actually, by lowering the resolution, upscaling quality a little bit more. Let's try DLSS 4 performance mode. Yes, this is huge. 140 plus. Well, actually, not as huge compared to DLSS quality mode. But yeah, we're getting about 20 to 25 FPS more compared to DLSS quality mode. And this is still an acceptable image quality, in my opinion. Pretty usable and enjoyable. In conclusion, I think that the 5070 Ti is a very nice graphics card to have if you are planning to play your games on a 4K monitor. I highly recommend this experience. I've actually been enjoying this combo for the past couple of weeks, and yeah, it's good. Unless you want to play a poorly optimized game, then yeah, you'll have to make a lot of sacrifices. But if you're playing a normal game in 2025, yeah, it's gonna be a good experience. As you could see in this video, it's actually quite brilliant. Let me know in the comments which other tests you would like to see me do with the 5070 Ti. And as always, don't forget to reward my work with a like if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. You can find all of the products featured in this video on Amazon and the links in the description below. That helps to, make these videos happen. Of course, just giving the video a like or commenting below, subscribing to the channel also helps tremendously, and I really appreciate it. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.